and welcome to our first lesson in the Content Drip Planning course. I'm Brittany. I'm the CEO of Leanne Minton Virtual Assistants, which is the creator of this group focused on content creation. And I'm putting on this course because I've received a lot of questions. Hi, Mary. Hi, Jean. Oh, look, lots of people showing up today. All right. So I put this course together because I've had lots of questions about when to post things and what to post about. And really, I just wanted to kind of answer all the questions. We're going to be going deep into email marketing next week, but really everything I'm going over this week is important to understand before we get into that. So this week, I'm going to be talking about your marketing cycle and in terms of content, your content marketing cycle. And it's very similar to your sales cycle. So for those of you who don't know what a sales cycle is basically the 3 stopping points along the road to a purchase from a client or customer. So you have your first step, which is introduction. They meet you, they find you, and they start following you, right? And that's what we're mostly going to be going over today. And then step 2, which we will go over on Wednesday, is they gain value from you. They build trust for you and in you. And then finally on Friday, we are going to be talking about launches and actually how that plays into your marketing cycle, because that's when your client or your customer purchases. So all of these play into your content. You need to have all 3 areas of content when you are planning your social media, when you are planning your blog posts, when you're planning your podcasts. So this really, it's not just for written content, because honestly, you should be showing up in more than one format. For instance, I'm a writer, but I do these live videos because not everybody is going to learn through writing or reading. So I do these videos because those who are auditory learners, they need to have the auditory in order to understand, right? And then occasionally I do visuals when I do my webinars. So for the visual learners who don't learn by reading, but more by like doing and watching it being done, that's what my webinars are really for. So when you're creating your content, you want to have multiple avenues for people to catch you and build that relationship and find that value in what you're giving. So that's what really this week is about. It's about building that relationship with your potential clients and customers and all of your followers. Because the sales cycle, it can last, the average sales cycle is 90 days, right? But for some products, services, or even people, the sales cycle to bring them on and onboard them with you could be anywhere from 180 days to 4 years. Like it's insane the way the online world works. Also, you don't know what's going on in their life, when they're going to be ready, because we're all on here, we're all trying to sell to each other, right? And we all know that and understand that, which is why building the relationships with your client base and with your followers is so important. And that's why we're talking about this first. So I'm just going to dive right in. I will be posting a blog post today with some more tips regarding this and some ideas on how to build relationships. So please look out for that. I will also be posting a PDF for you guys to do your homework. So tomorrow is about doing the homework and also asking any questions you may have. And then Wednesday, we will do the second lesson. And then same thing, Thursday is about homework and asking questions. And then Friday is about is about the lesson. And then you have the weekend to do your homework and get caught up on everything that's happened this week. So I set it up that way because I figured that I'm giving you a lot of information, and I wanted to make sure it was spaced out so that you didn't feel overwhelmed. So, and also these are going to be saved. I'm putting all of the videos in the units as I go through. I'll be creating the units. That way, if you missed something, you can go back, you can rewatch it. So I'm making this, I want to make this really accessible for everybody, especially for those who come in late or who aren't able to watch this live. So moving on to today's lesson on building relationships through your content. So I love lists. Lists for me are like the be all do all of everything. So your homework tonight is going to be to make these lists. I want you to make a list of questions that are not related to business that you can ask in groups, that you can ask on your business page. If you have a group, you can ask it in your group, ask it on your personal pages. That you want to, and the reason you want to ask these questions that are not business related is because it makes you feel like a real person, and also it just puts you in front of people without them feeling like you're selling them something. It drops their guard a little bit, okay? It builds that trust that you're not just after the dollar every single time they talk to you. So create a list of questions, think 20 questions, or think about something that you're asking right now that you're wanting to like look up on Google. And because while we all can Google things, it's nice to see what other people think, right? So ask questions like, here, I have a list. So like, what is your favorite book? What podcasts are you listening to? What are you binging on Netflix? What time do you go to bed? What time do you wake up? Where would you like to travel to next? There's a whole ton of questions that you can ask that in a group or on your page that has nothing to do with business, that's going to put everyone's guard down, but also open up to you, because people like answering those questions. They're fun, and it's nice and interesting to see what other people say and what other people are doing and watching and reading and seeing. So ask a question and don't gear it towards business. Just make it fun. Like my business coach, Megan Larkhart, she often asks the question of who's into tiny homes, because she has this little tiny home that she's created that she uses for vacation. And so she'll just randomly go on and ask about who's into tiny homes. And that's a great way of like breaking the ice. It's something different. So try and think outside of the box of what I just listed there, because there's so many ways you could take that. Like you could say who's into gardening. If you like to garden, I like to garden. So I would be all over a post like that. Okay, so you're gonna have your list of non-business related questions, but I also want you to make a list of semi-business related questions. So like, what are some new habits you want to start building in your marketing? What is your favorite business tool? Questions like that get people talking about business, but aren't necessarily directly about you selling them something. Like, who is your ideal client? What is your why? Things that get people talking about what it is they do. And the reason I have you do these questions is because after you ask your non-business related question, you want to go in and ask one of those. So, there you are. Okay, so, and beyond that though, when you ask those business related questions and you're not selling something, and same with the non-business related questions, people see those questions, they click on your profile, they see your business page, your website, and they're going to click over to it. They're going to go check it out. They're going to go see what you're about, because they want to know more about you, because you're being, for them, authentic. You're asking questions that are personable, that make them see you as a person and not necessarily just as a business owner, entrepreneur out there to sell them something. So one of the biggest things about building those relationships is making them true relationships, not always coming across as money, 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 money. And so go ahead. So you'll have your two lists. You'll have your non-business related questions. Then you have your business related questions. And when you do that, and especially when you post them in groups that aren't yours, you're going to see an influx of friend requests. You're going to see people, and if your profile is set up correctly, you're going to see an increase in likes on your business page. You'll see more people joining your group because people are finding you, because they're seeing you show up. I did this the other day. I posted just a random question on who has a best friend, has someone that they consider their best friend online. And I received like 20 friend requests as a result of that one question. It was insane. And now, when you receive all these friend requests, you obviously don't want to accept all of them. So this is what I do when I receive a friend request. I check the profile, make sure it's not a bot, or as best I can ensure it's not a bot. I accept the friend request and I immediately message the person, asking them a question about them, letting them know, hey, I like to get to know my new friends. What are you most passionate about in 2012, coming up in 2020? Or what do you do? Or just, I ask random questions. And when I post that blog post later today, you're going to get some ideas for questions for that too. So, and then now, not everybody's going to respond to my message. Some people just completely ignore it. Others don't even answer the question. They just say hi, or that's cool, or send me a thumbs up. And that's fine. But others, they actually answer the question because they want to build relationships. And those are the people that I want to keep on my friends list, because they're the people who are going to engage with my content. They're the people who are going to like what I'm doing. And they're the people that I'm going to want to go and engage with them on their content. So when that happens, or I go through, I give it about 4 to 6 weeks for people to respond, because not everybody checks their messages the way I do. I check mine every single day, multiple times a day, because it comes up on my phone. But not everybody does all of that from their phone. Some people are adamant about they sit down, they have their time where they go and they do that. So I give people 4 to 6 weeks. And if I don't get any response from them in that amount of time, they're not engaging on any of my content, then I delete them as a friend, because I don't need extra people in my list that aren't going to be engaging in building a relationship with me, especially when I'm working so hard to build a relationship with them. So, because you have to remember, relationships are two-way streets. It's the same in business, it's the same in life. So you want to make sure that people are actually responding and engaging with you as well. That they're not just sending you friend requests because, oh, look, new person. I'm going to go see if I can try and sell to them. Because no, that's not the way it works. That's not how anybody sells anything. You want to sell something, you have to build a relationship first. There's got to be a trust factor. We need to know who you are. And in the online space, there's so many people that we can connect with, that we can get to know, that people are not buying on first meeting. It's just not happening. And it's not going to happen. If somebody buys on a first meeting, it's very rare. So it takes time to build up to gaining sales, which is why the marketing cycle is a process, and you need to be putting out content for everybody, because you have people who are coming in at different times and different people who are at different steps of the process in connecting and building a relationship with you. So your new friends, those who are just now getting to know you, they're in the building relationship and gaining value and building trust area. They're not at the purchase. set yet. So when you're creating your content, when you're planning out your content, create multiple one second. Create multiple posts where you're introducing yourself. And when you introduce yourself, you don't just need to say, hello, I'm Brittany, I'm a copywriter and content creator. No, there are so many ways that you can do an introductory post that's not just about you talking about what you do. You can do introductory posts by answering questions. So I get asked about copyright laws all the time. But I don't do copyright laws. So people get confused between the copywriting and copyright. And they're spelled different. They're two different things. And so I frequently answer that question in my marketing because I know it's something that comes up. That's a question that people have. And they need to understand that that's not what I do. So I explain what copy is. I explain what a copywriter is. I explain the difference between a copywriter and copyright. And that's me introducing myself, introducing what I do and talking about what I do, but without me directly saying, hi, I'm Brittany, a copywriter and content creator. Now, while you do want to have posts that do that, you don't want all of your introductory posts to be like that. So answering questions that you get asked a lot that help better define what it is you do. Talking about your why, what got you in here, what is your story for doing what it is you do. And let's see, I have notes over here. What is your why? What is you do? And what is your role? Where did you come from? I actually did a whole live series on this on my business page just before Christmas. I talked about where I came from, where I'd been over the course of the year, why I was doing what I was doing, and what my plans were for the future. So when you're introducing yourself, there's so many avenues you can take without having to feel like you're constantly repeating yourself. Now, eventually, as you create your content and develop your content, it is going to feel like you're repeating yourself a lot. But you're constantly growing you're constantly growing your audience. So for your audience, it's not going to feel that way. Now, so what you want to do is you want to create multiple posts geared toward introducing yourself, talking about what it is you do in different formats and different ways, and switch out the images that are in there. Take more selfies, update your professional photos and headshots, and just plop them in there. And that saves you time for creating content, as well as starts building a library of content that you can use and reuse over and over and over again. Because 90 days, 180 days from now, nobody's going to remember that post that you posted back in like January when we're in like July or August. So don't be afraid of developing a library and reutilizing what you've already created. Content planning does not have to be this big, long, constantly reproducing new material all the time. Another way you can introduce yourself is to share your testimonials also. So that's another suggestion. And if you're getting new testimonials frequently, which you should be if you're always asking for them from your new clients and even current past clients, getting them to write you new ones over time, then you should be building a library of that as well. Now, what else? Building relationships. Some people like to share their story. You don't necessarily have to. That's completely up to you. Sharing your story can be a great way to build trust amongst your audience. Okay. Okay, I covered that and that. Okay. Also, okay, and then finally, showcasing your work. So if you create something, because I feel like a lot of us in here are creatives. If you create something like a landing page, a website for a client, or if, like, I know Mary, I don't know if she's still in here, but she creates these amazing, beautiful baskets filled with lots of goodies. That's a big part of what she does. And so if you create something like that, share it. Showcase your work. Don't be afraid to do that. People want to see what you're doing. That's another way of introducing yourself. And as you're building your relationships, you want to be asking questions. You want to be answering questions for people. So don't just ask questions and run away in the groups. Also go through and answer other people's questions, because people are going to see you, and the more they see you, the more they're going to click over to your profile, right? Sorry. Talked about that too. Talked about that. Okay. Okay, and this last tip, I like this last one. Okay, so this is the last one, and then I'm going to give you your homework. Okay, so email list. Because we are going to be talking about email marketing on Monday, I wanted to go over a quick little tidbit about emailing. A lot of you probably have a very small list, or not one, or don't have one at all, because I feel like a lot of you joined because you were interested in that email marketing tidbit. I have a very small list myself. It's probably around like 10 or 20 people, and I like it. I like that it's small because I get to email each of those people individually. And I actually highly recommend that when you do have such a small list, and you can do that, because you're building up that relationship, you're making it more personable. People are more likely to buy from you if they feel like they know you and can trust you. So when your list is small, send out personal email to each and every person that's on your list. Now, while the email can be very similar to everyone that you send it to, include something that you know about that person, especially if they are following you on like social media, if you're following them, if they're one of your friends on Facebook, or if they're one of your followers on Instagram, or if you are connected on LinkedIn. Go check out their profile, find something that you can compliment them on or comment on in your email or in a private message, though email is better because it's more personable than a private message, and message them or email them about it. That way they see that you're following them and that you're interested in them. Now, while your main goal is to eventually sell to them, and while they will probably know this, it makes it feel like you actually care about them. And honestly, you should care about the people that you are selling to, because what's the point of all of us doing this if we don't care? And the reason I do what I do is because I love what I do. I love writing content, I love creating content, and I love helping people. For me, it really is about getting to help everybody, which is why I'm putting on this really, really long free course that I should have honestly charged for. But I think information is free. And honestly, content planning, while I do have an offer for that, where you can do a one-to-one call with me and we will go over your content plan together, and I will then send you a written 5-week plan of themes for your content. I for me, it's most of what I do is actually the writing of content. That's my main service. That's the main offer that I do. And when I teach this, when I prepare you for understanding and knowing what type of content that you need, when you come to me, you have all the answers that to all the questions I'm going to ask you when I develop the content for you. So I do these free courses, I do these free things because that's part of the value section, which we're going to talk about on Wednesday. But I also do it because I care. I want everybody to succeed. I want your businesses to grow and flourish and just be as amazing as they can be, and that I know they can be. So we're going to move on to your homework. I'm going to be posting a blog post. It's going to have a list of different ideas and ways that you can build relationships with your customers and your clients through content. And I'm also going to be posting a PDF file walking you through the different lists that you need that I talked about making. So I talked about 2 lists. There's technically 3 lists though. So you want your list of questions that are non-business related that you can ask people, or ask in groups, not people. You're asking people because it's people that are in groups, but you get what I mean. So your list of non-business related questions. Oh, definitely, Samantha. Thank you so much for stopping in. But the replay is definitely worth it because we went into a lot of stuff today. And anybody else is catching this on replay, please do #replay. And if anybody has questions, feel free to put them in the comments, or I'm also going to be making a question thread, and I will be going through both, and I will answer all the questions at the beginning of Wednesday's video, so that, or I'll answer them directly. Just depends on what the question is specifically. But anyway, so the homework is going to be to make these 3 lists. List 1, a list of questions that you can just ask that are non-business related. That blog post I'm going to be sharing today, I have to finish getting it up on my website. That blog post is going to get you started. I'll have a few questions to help start building the ideas in your head. But create a list of questions, non-business related, a second list of questions that are business related, but not necessarily directly about you trying to sell them something. And they're just like get to know you, entrepreneur to entrepreneur questions. And then the third list is a list of questions to ask your new friends or the people who friend request you, as a way of building a conversation, because it can get really annoying asking the same question over and over and over again. I'm actually going to be doing this homework with you guys because this is something I know that I need to do too, because I get really annoyed at asking the same questions. Because I've been doing that a lot lately. So I'm going to be making my own lists as part of the homework. So I'm doing this with you all because we want this 2020 year to be amazing. We want to get our content out there. We want to build those relationships. That way we can have amazing sales this year. Because the biggest part about selling anything is having that relationship base as well as that content base. So we're building out our content and we're building our relationships, and Wednesday we're going to talk about building value and educating our audience. In fact, that's probably my favorite lesson, is what we're going to be doing on Wednesday. And then Friday, we're going to be talking about how to include sales and launches into that cycle. Because the third step of a sales cycle of your customer base getting to know you is you selling them something. And it's okay to talk about sales in your marketing. But you also want to make sure that you are including the relationship building and the value bringing information as well, because you have different people that are coming in at different stages that are seeing your content. So you want a good mix, and we're going to talk about that more later on this week. Anyway, I will be posting a PDF going over the different lists you need to make, as well as a blog post later today That way you guys can have all day tomorrow to work on it. And for now, if you missed the beginning of this, please go back, watch it. And if you're catching this later, hashtag replay. We went over a lot of stuff today. Anyway, I love you guys. Bye. See you Wednesday.